Sometimes life brings us face to face with our past, not to remind us of who we were, but to test who we've become. If you've ever had to make a decision that could change someone's life forever, you'll feel this story deep in your soul. And trust me, by the end, you'll understand why forgiveness is the strongest form of justice. So stay with me till the end, and if this story touches your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that will make you believe in second chances. The courtroom was silent. Only the faint hum of the air conditioner broke through the tension that hung heavy in the air. Judge Ethan Cole sat behind the massive oak bench, his eyes calm yet sharp. Years of service as a soldier had taught him to control every emotion, every flicker of weakness. But that day, something was different. As the next case was called, he adjusted his glasses and glanced at the file. State vs. Daniel Harris. Theft, assault, resisting arrest. Another tragic statistic, another broken man. But when the defendant stepped into the courtroom, escorted by an officer, Ethan's hand froze in midair. That face, those eyes, that scar across his brow. Memories flooded back. A dusty neighborhood street, two boys laughing, playing with sticks like swords, dreaming about becoming heroes one day. Daniel Harris wasn't just any defendant. He was Ethan's childhood best friend. For a moment, the world blurred. Years of service, battles fought overseas, nights spent alone raising his daughter after losing his wife, they all seemed to vanish. He was just Ethan again, standing beside his best friend, both barefoot kids running toward a future that now lay shattered. The prosecutor began speaking, listing the charges. Ethan's focus drifted. Every word hit like a hammer. Theft, violence, drugs, homelessness. How had Daniel fallen this far? After court adjourned for lunch, Ethan retreated to his chambers, his thoughts spinning. As a judge, he'd sworn to uphold the law, not bend it for sentiment. But as a man, as a veteran who'd seen men crumble under life's weight, he couldn't help but feel something stronger, sorrow, and guilt. He remembered the last time he'd seen Daniel. They were 18, standing at a crossroads, Ethan heading off to the military, Daniel staying behind to care for his sick mother. "You'll make it big, Ethan," Daniel had said, smiling. "One day, you'll be the man everyone looks up to." Ethan had promised he'd come back and help his friend too. But life got in the way, war, duty, love, loss, and Daniel faded into memory. Now fate had brought them back together, one behind the bench, the other in shackles. That night, Ethan sat at his desk long after the courthouse emptied. He opened Daniel's file again, but this time he didn't see a criminal record. He saw a story, a man broken by circumstance. Daniel's mother had passed away, he'd lost his job, he'd spiraled into addiction. Life hadn't been kind. And yet, somewhere beneath those charges, Ethan saw the same boy who once shared his last slice of bread with him. The next day, during the trial, Ethan's composure cracked. When Daniel took the stand, his voice trembled. "Do you recognize this, Judge?" the defense attorney asked. Daniel's eyes lifted slowly. For the first time in years, they met. "Yes," he whispered, "he used to be my best friend. He was like my brother." The courtroom gasped. The prosecutor tried to move on, but Ethan raised his hand. "Mr. Harris," he said quietly, "what happened to you?" Daniel laughed bitterly. "Life happened, Judge. People forgot. Dreams died. You made it out. I didn't." Every word cut deep. Ethan's heart ached with memories of promises left unkept. But he knew sympathy wasn't justice. What Daniel needed wasn't pity, it was a chance. The evidence was clear. Daniel was guilty. But the law also gave discretion, the power to guide, not just punish. Ethan took a deep breath. "I can't erase what you did," he said, his voice firm. "But I can offer you something better than a sentence, a path." He sentenced Daniel not to prison, but to a veteran rehabilitation program, community service, and counseling. It was controversial. The prosecutor objected, but Ethan stood by his decision. "Justice without compassion," he said, "is just vengeance in disguise." Weeks turned into months. Ethan checked on Daniel's progress quietly. Each report filled him with cautious hope. Daniel was trying, really trying. He attended therapy, volunteered at shelters, even spoke to at-risk youth about staying away from crime. Slowly, piece by piece, he rebuilt the life he thought was gone forever. Then one rainy evening, as Ethan left the courthouse, a voice called from behind. "Hey, Judge. Ethan turned, and there was Daniel. Clean-shaven, smiling, holding a small bouquet. You once said we'd be heroes, remember? Daniel said, chuckling. Guess we just took different battles to fight. Ethan smiled, his throat tight. You fought yours harder than anyone. They stood there, under the drizzle, two friends reunited, not by circumstance, but by grace. Months later, Daniel completed his program, got a steady job, and began mentoring others. At his graduation ceremony, he gave a short speech. I thought my life was over, he said, glancing toward Ethan in the crowd. But one man chose to see who I was, not just what I'd done. Sometimes all we need is for someone to remember us. The audience rose in applause. Ethan's daughter, sitting beside him, whispered, Dad, that was beautiful. He smiled, eyes glistening. Yeah, sweetheart, it was. Because in that moment, Ethan realized something powerful. True justice isn't about punishment. It's about redemption. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't judging others, it's forgiving yourself.